It's a new month. It's June 1st. It's Wednesday. New slate, but we're going to keep winning at windailysports.com. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hop in our expert chat and check out all the free content in windailysports.com. Free articles all day, every day. I'm Jay. This is Adam. We're here to cover the Wednesday main slate for DraftKings and FanDuel. Adam, hit us with the stats of the top pitchers on the slate that we're going to be targeting on the main slate on Wednesday.
Yeah, for me, Robbie Ray's first man in. Matchups kind of make the fights here. Cortez and Scooble both draw much tougher matchups than Robbie Ray does. He came on in the month of May, and it might not look at it with a 5.34 ERA, but the xFIP was 281, and the K rate jumped to about 33%. The Orioles have the third highest K rate when facing a lefty. That's what we like to see when we're going to look for Robbie Ray. They whiff over 26% of the time. They're no higher than 24th in weighted runs created. Plus, WOBA, OPS, ICE, anything. Any offensive category you want, the Orioles are bad in. For me, it didn't quite work out with Gausman last night. I thought he was the clear-cut best pitcher on the slate. You can't let that stuff bother you. I'm going right back to what I think is the best pitcher of the slate, and it's Robbie Ray.
To that same point, man, I'm not going to I'm not going to fix what's broken here. I went with Kirby last night in my main lineup on FanDuel. He went out there and mowed down these Orioles, 8 Ks in 6 innings. So Robbie Ray, can he get you 8? Can he get you 7? He can probably go clean against these Orioles. So I like the Ray call. He's currently only a minus 150 favorite. I actually like that bet, man. I think that's a pretty fair line. Anytime you have any team going against the Orioles and you have an ace attached to that team, I kind of like that bet looking at it early here for the Wednesday, June 1st slate. Outside of Robbie Ray, you mentioned Cortez. Cortez came out of nowhere. Look, I live in New York. I'm a Met fan, of course, but nobody was talking about this guy in the Yankees. None of my friends were talking about him. This guy just comes out with his little mustache and just strikes out batter after batter after batter. So Cortez still in play for me. The Yankees are the better team here. I think they win this game. Couple tough matchups against the Angels with Mike Trout, of course, but I do like Cortez. If you go Cortez with Ray, going to be a little bit tough. So, Adam, value here. Is there any value here? Any love for – look, I'm looking at the Red Sox with Whitlock potentially, and I might be dangerous enough to go with Hunter Green. I know he's getting blown up. I know he's had some bad starts, but he can always sprinkle in a good start with that arm of his. So what's he thinking?
Yeah, I do like Whitlock. I'm not sure I can get there with Hunter Green. We do know the talent level is there, but the potential for just abject disaster is certainly there as well. With Whitlock, some people might point out that when he's been a starter, he has an ERA over 4, the WOBA's over 315, and I get it. He's looked worse as a starter statistics-wise, but man, he drew such a rough 5-start stretch. I don't know quite how to value all the metrics as a starter, right? Because this last game, okay, strikeouts really weren't there against the Orioles, but he made it through 6 innings. Before that, you're looking at Toronto, the Angels, Atlanta, Houston. Seattle's probably a better offense than people realize. That was a tough road for him to get through. So I'm not buying fully into, he can't start. The fact that he went 6 innings is a really strong sign to me. And I think the K's come back, and he's probably not priced accurately for his upside here.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot there. Look, I'll take a couple shots on Green if I'm entering more than 10 lineups. Cortez in play. I'm going to stay away from Scooble. Look, Minnesota's lineup is just too strong here. Staying away there. Robbie Ray, great spot, 9,500. Might take a shot or two on Kopech. Dude, still ace potential here. Toronto's been heating up, so I'm not going to target him on, my main lineup or any optimal lineups, but I think he's in play. And then, Adam, you mentioned a guy prior to the show here, Springs, out of Tampa Bay. 6 innings, 6 Ks in his last start, 5.2 in the start before with 7 Ks. His pitch count only reached 80. So if this guy can go maybe 90, if he can get to 90, we're looking at even more upside here. Texas has been hitting a little bit better here. Thoughts on Springs for a DraftKings SP2, your second SP, going with one of these top dogs, like we said, Robbie Ray or Cortez?
Yeah, I'm going to have, I don't want to say quite a bit because I know Whitlock's right there, but I will definitely have some interest. I will certainly have some lineups with Springs in it. The start against the Yankees, he got a little bit lucky. The Yankees did not exactly throw out their best lineup. Stanton was hurt, Donaldson's hurt, and even then, I think their top 3 hitters were dangerous in that lineup, and then the rest were pretty subpar. So he did draw, about the best spot possible. But you look, he generated, still got 6 strikeouts, 7 against Baltimore. He's pitching well, and the price, again, just like Whitlock, it doesn't reflect what he's been putting on paper. The Rangers can be pesky against lefties, but at 6,200, I don't need him to go out there for 7 innings and strike out 10 guys. I mean, 6,200 is what Mookie Betts has been costing you lately.
Now, looking at stacks here, man, the Mets aren't on this slate, so we can't stack up one of the hottest hitting teams, but the Yankees are. Detmers came out, threw a no-hitter against Texas. Then he Tampa Bay. Then he struggled against Texas in 2 consecutive starts, only lasting 3 2/3 in the first start, then 6 innings and 5 earned runs, 4 home runs in the last 2 games, both to Texas again. Now he gets a tougher lineup, and he's a big lefty, but you got righties galore on these Yankees, and they hit on Tuesday. They'll probably hit again on Wednesday. Are the Yankees your number 1 stack on Wednesday's slate?
They're in the running for it. I mean, you look at Detmer's a fly ball rate over 46%. That's never great in New York. He's sitting on his 4-seam about 44% to the right side. Judge, Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, all 235 ISO or higher against that pitch. He doesn't really shut down the left side of the plate. So the lefty-lefty matchup with Rizzo is perfectly fine in my book. 458 xFIP against the right side of the plate. And the big thing is he doesn't strike people out. And that's always scary. If you can't miss the Yankee bats, it doesn't tend to end well for you. I think the $8,700 price tag is pretty ridiculous. I understand he had a no-hitter, 3 starts ago. I don't care. Usually we don't target pitchers at this price range, but he's just not priced correctly at all.
Now, thoughts on the Dodgers, man. They're getting beat up by your Pirates. I don't know if it's going to last on Wednesday. Quintana's pitching 2.15 ERA. Kind of shocking. The guy's out there doing his thing every single start. We're not going to pitch him, even though he went out there against the Dodgers earlier in May. 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, only 5 Ks. Do we like the Dodgers at all, or are the Dodgers fool's gold, going against the Pirates and Quintana?
They probably won't be my, number 1 priority. I think they're fine. I think kind of your normal suspects. I think Mookie has to cool off at some point. That's debatable the way he's swinging the bat right now. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Trey Turner, Freddie Freeman's always cool for lefty-lefty matchup as well. You go up and down their lineup, they have good hitters. Chris Taylor's probably going to be sneaky. But for me, I'm probably looking towards the Seattle Mariners before I go against or go after the Dodgers here. Kyle Bradish, well, I think he's talented. He just hasn't shown it yet. And this guy just cannot get righty hitters out yet. 4.11 home run per 9 against the right side of the plate. A FIP over 9 and an xFIP over 5 against the right side. So if you're a righty in that the Mariners lineup, I'm all about it. And Julio Rodriguez is only 4,500, and I'm really looking towards him in a big way here.
Yeah, I like that call, man. You go stack Seattle with Robbie Ray, the perfect pairing. It makes a lot of sense. But Adam, I got to stop you for a second. I saw a Twitter post the other day that basically had a headshot of every best player, didn't matter the sport, from every city. And I got stopped on LA. And I got to ask you now, Mike Trout was the LA poster child. He was the best athlete in LA. But looking at their careers right now, right? Mookie Betts, Mike Trout. Who's got the better career at this point? He's won rings. The numbers are pretty damn close. Defensively, they're both gold glovers. And one stays healthy or more healthy than the other. I got a 2-part question. A, who is the better player up until this point in career? And B, if you can trade places with one of these 2 guys, who would you be, Mike Trout or Mookie Betts?
I mean, without knowing every single number right off the top of my head, I'd still probably lean Trout. The rings don't matter to me because baseball, more than anything, is a team sport. It's not Mike Trout's fault that the team around him has been trash for most of his career. And, if you told me who do I want to be right now, it's probably still Betts because I probably still have a much better chance to win a ring with the Dodgers than I do the Angels. But again, that doesn't mean Mookie Betts is better, and that's not taking anything away from Mookie Betts by any stretch. But I'll probably still take Trout with the openness to be wrong in that if there's a strong statistical case. And as far as like Trout winning that poll, he has to because Mookie Betts isn't really. I don't want to say he's not known as a Dodger. He's been there for a minute now, but he made his name in Boston.
Yeah.
Trout's never been anywhere else.
I give them that, but it was like it stood out to me. It wasn't like Mookie Betts was number 2, but it was just Trout was de facto there. And he might not be the best player on his team as of last year, but this year he is starting off really high. He's won me some money. So no hate to Mike Trout, but I thought that was kind of interesting that Mookie Betts wasn't even – look, you can only put one face up there. So I'm assuming he was in the discussion there. But Mookie's had a pretty good career. But like you said, done more for Boston at this point than he did for the LA Dodgers there. Looking at Vegas here, Robbie Ray, like I said, minus 150 favorite. Kind of like the Mariners to beat up on the Orioles again. One of my favorite plays of the day. I'm going to be looking for props again. We nailed the Kirby props for Seattle. That was when we ran the train on all the way up to 7Ks. His prop was actually only 3.5Ks. We'll be posting more props in our Win Daily Sports Discord, so make sure you check that out. Now, Adam, sneaky stacks, good value. Where are you finding it on this little slate on Wednesday night?
I mean, Seattle was not priced badly at all, but if you're going elsewhere, I'm not necessarily adverse to taking 1 or 2 Pirates bats against Mitch White. I don't think he's been anything special. The previous 2 starters have kind of underperformed. You get a guy like Brian Reynolds, only 3,800. Somebody like that, even the kid they just called up, I'm not even sure how to pronounce the guy's first name. Tuchapita Marcano. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. I feel pretty comfortable with Marcano, part of it at least. But he hit another home run last night, like 2,200. Hey, you could do worse. Lefty outfielder for almost stone minimum. I don't mind those kind of plays.
Look, Pittsburgh's starting to hit. Dodgers are struggling. I love to see it, man, because I know you're a Pirates fan. I'm a Met fan, so I need the Dodgers to keep on losing. Any love for Tampa Bay against Gray here? There's some cheap bats in this lineup. Not too many, but you got Choi at 4,400. You got a couple other guys. Franco is most likely going to still be out here. I know that lowers the upside
he hit the
here.
IL today, so yeah, he'll still be out.
So Tampa Bay, it's going to be supremely underowned. Trying to look for some value here. I think Chicago, the White Sox, look, they're playing without Tim Anderson, so that lowers their upside here. But guys like potentially Berger at 3,600 against Ryu makes sense. Look who's in that lineup. Abreu's been struggling. He's only 4K. Gavin Sheets probably play as well. There is a little bit of value here against Ryu, but I think this is a clear slate just to go ahead and stack Seattle. Potentially, like Adam said, you got a couple other lineups here. Dodgers in play. Pittsburgh's in play. We got to see these lineups roll out. I'm definitely going to be nailing some props over our Win Daily Sports Discord chat. And as of right now, I do think the Cincinnati-Boston game could be sneaky in 2 different ways. Look, the over-under is 9. You can get your pitchers out of here, but Boston's also one of the hottest lineups, as of this past 10 days, past 2 weeks. They've been mashing the ball. And Hunter Green is boom or bust here. I can see him go out there and get 6 or 7 Ks, maybe 2 earned, or he can be out in 2 innings and he can let up 7, 8 runs real quick with some walks and these power bats for Boston. So keep an eye on this game. We'll talk about it more on our Discord chat. Don't forget about the golf PGA Draftcast on our YouTube channel as well. These guys broke down the Memorial Tournament, which kicks off on Thursday. And I've been reading all the golf articles. We have a new writer in Deep Dive, Dave. He's nailed some outrights already on a Dutch golf tour. Sia nailed Sam Burns. You could got him anywhere from 80-1 to 120-1. So cash in on all the bets and all the ways we win at WinDailySports.com. We'll be back for Thursday. Adam, good job on your part. Ace of the slate, he's got Robbie Ray. We like the Seattle Mariners as well. We are out of here, and we'll be back tomorrow